No one has gone before.
Konnichiwa, konnichiwa, and Yobaseo. Will here of the Politics Chi talk about Nancy Pelosi, and on the other side of the spectrum, since the Politics Chi is all about centricity, Bill Kristol. So Nancy Pelosi, most of all, piling on. You'll hear from Tucker. He'll hear from Tucker about how Bill Kristol has been marginalized, but so too is it true about her. There you go. Spending all his time on Twitter when he used to have a meaningful impact vis-a-vis his medium in the past. So much so you never see him on Fox News anymore, MSNBC, which I used to cover. Not anymore. But with regard to Nancy Pelosi and both of them, I mean, the Politics Chi is all about centricity. It is time to retire and step away with some dignity while you still have it. Roll it.
I think it's frustrating because right now we have these politicians, they believe it's okay to lie. You know, we let them get away with it. She's going to make such a ridiculous lie, like even the fact that I'm brown and she's going to say I'm a white supremacist. And it's really frustrating, you know, and you know what she's doing is she's making it more dangerous for San Francisco. What she's trying to do is she's trying to rile up her citizens so that they'll come down there and try to chase us out.
So, yeah, I mean, Nancy Pelosi, you know, I noticed this with Chuck Schumer the other 3 weeks ago now with the skinny repeal. When they're on camera and they know they're on camera, they sound so like, oh, we're willing to work together. But off camera, the truth comes out. So on the Quickie Polyrat, I already said it. Step away while you still can. And by the way, from a former Democrat, this is why the Democratic Party is losing former Democrats. We were always centrist. Now we're like mostly right of center. All right. Thanks for watching. No silly DUIs while you're out there. Roll clips.
Some members of Congress are seizing on the events of last weekend to demand a rollback of freedoms in this country. House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi, not surprisingly, is at the forefront of that. She's calling on the National Park Service to block a scheduled Patriot Prayer rally in San Francisco. She calls it a white supremacist event that will promote violence. Joey Gibson would know because he's the rally's organizer, and he joins us tonight. So let's be totally honest with one another, Joey. I'm sure you're going to be denounced as a white supremacist. Everybody seems to be now. Are you a white supremacist, and is this rally a white supremacist rally?
Absolutely not. Actually, I'm not white. We have about 8 speakers, and only 1 speaker is white. You know, we have a couple black speakers, Hispanic, we have a transsexual speaker, we have a woman speaker. It's very diverse. You know, it's really just about what's on the inside, you know, what you believe, you know, your heart, your soul, has nothing to do with skin color.
So you're not only not white supremacist, you're not even white. And I find it hilarious, I'm sorry to laugh, because it's so lunatic that the former Speaker of the House is calling you and the people you're speaking with white supremacists, again, when you're not even white. Why do you think she's saying that?
Well, I think she's trying to capitalize, you know, and everyone's picking up the rhetoric right now. I went to Seattle. A city council member said that I was a white supremacist, you know, and so I think it's frustrating because right now we have these politicians, they believe it's okay to lie. You know, we let them get away with it. She's going to make such a ridiculous lie, like even the fact that I'm brown and she's going to say I'm a white supremacist. And it's really frustrating, you know, and you know what she's doing is she's making it more dangerous for San Francisco. What she's trying to do is she's trying to rile up her citizens so that they'll come down there and try to chase us out. You know, and she's using that rhetoric, and it's just going to cause more violence, and it's going to put more people in danger.
Well, that's actually a really good point. So she's announced publicly that your event is a white supremacist event, and I'm sure that there are a lot of organized lunatics who would go no matter what, but there are probably some people who are legitimately upset by that, who aren't lunatics, who saw what happened in Charlottesville, and they're going to come down too now. I mean, this does raise the chance that something awful will happen. Have you complained directly to her, to Nancy Pelosi, about this?
Well, absolutely, we're working on it, but the thing is what she doesn't understand is that this rhetoric, like, it's just, she's quadrupled the size of the rally. You know, she's given us publicity, but now she's going to quadruple the size of the protesters. And so I don't know what she's thinking. Like, I don't understand her logic, because obviously they won't be able to pull it. But I really think that she's just trying to further her own agenda. You know, she feels like it's okay to lie and to be deceptive. I mean, she has a long history of lying, and I don't get why San Francisco puts up with that. And the fact that really she's not caring about her citizens or San Francisco. I mean, look at San Francisco. Look how dirty it is. Look at the trash. Look at the garbage. Like, she doesn't even take care of her own people. And now she's trying to make this more violent and more dangerous. So I don't know what she's thinking. I don't know if she's trying to provoke or if she's trying to bring in racists or what. But I'll tell you this much: I can give you my word that we're not going to allow any white supremacists in. We're not going to let any Nazis in. In fact, our speakers will be very upset, okay, because they're all of color, if we have any Nazis or any white supremacists in there. I mean, how disappointed would you be if you're a white supremacist and you go to a rally and there's only one white person speaking?
The whole thing is unbelievable. Good luck, Joey. Great to see you. Last night at the top of the show, we addressed the removal of Civil War monuments from public places around the country. We made the point that the sudden outrage over Confederate icons isn't entirely about slavery, horrifying as slavery is. It's also part of a larger effort on the left to discredit the founders of this country and the beliefs they enshrined in law. Once you believe that any figure in history who once owned slaves is inherently illegitimate and should be erased, it's hard to take our founding documents very seriously. How can you accept a Bill of Rights when it was written by slave owners? Well, you can't, which is why so many on the left don't and ignore the First and Second Amendments, among many others. That was the point we were trying to make. You may disagree with it, but it didn't seem crazy or mean-spirited. Here's the tweet that Bill Kristol, the former Weekly Standard editor and Fox contributor, sent minutes later, referring to our segment last night. Quote, "They started by rationalizing Trump. They ended by rationalizing slavery." Rationalizing slavery. That is not even close to what we were saying by any interpretation. What an outrageous thing to say, but it got worse. Just minutes later, Kristol suggested somehow we were anti-Semitic, too. Here's his second tweet. Quote, "Next, Luther, Voltaire, and Marx were anti-Jewish, so why is it a big deal that the marchers were chanting, 'Jews will not replace us,' end quote." Okay, that is libel, but it's also really stupid. And yet Bill Kristol isn't stupid. I know that because I worked for Bill Kristol for more than 5 years in the 1990s. I knew him well. He was a genuinely smart guy. He was a good boss, too. He was humane and fair-minded. He was the kind of person I never would have imagined would write something that nasty and dishonest about an enemy, much less an old friend. What happened? Well, Kristol refused to explain himself today, so we can only guess at that. Part of the explanation has to be the moment that we're living in right now, where hysteria has supplanted rational debate, where the purpose of political argument is no longer to explain your beliefs, but to highlight what a morally upstanding person you are, what a virtuous guy you are, usually by contrast with your opponent, who is, by definition, evil. It's childish, obviously, but for many people, it's pretty tempting. Even 64-year-old men with Harvard degrees fall for it, apparently. But part of the problem is also the medium. 20 years ago, when Bill Kristol had something to say, he had a magazine to say it in. He talked through ideas with his friends, then he spent hours writing a piece that expressed those ideas precisely. There was thinking involved in the process. Now he just goes on Twitter, and he stays on Twitter all day, every day, dashing off little thoughts and impressions, scoring tiny little points against strangers in cyberspace, keeping obsessive track of his likes and retweets. At an age when he could be playing with his grandchildren, Kristol is glued to social media like a slot machine junkie in Reno. And after a while, of course, that distorts you. When you disagree with someone, it doesn't occur to you to pick up the phone and hash it out. You tweet it, hoping for retweets. It's depressing as hell. Kristol isn't the only one who does this. Obviously, Washington is littered with formerly impressive people who now just shout and preen on social media. But I hate to see it with him. I liked Bill Kristol once, and I thought he liked me. What a shame.